All right, Marcia, Miss Marcia? Thank you.
Thank you.
Michael Marone, Alan?
Sure, you don't want to. It's 1 o'clock, and Stella Wilson and I were going to talk a little bit more than I think we're going to talk now. And she doesn't know I'm saying that, but I don't know what y'all want to do. I was hoping to get some guidance from you all, so the Restore Committee could be working on some things. But I think you all are tired, and it's 1 o'clock. I don't know how much discussion you all want. I mean, you tell me. I mean, you're worn out.
Just reschedule it.
All right. Let me read you my report so you be thinking about it, and then I guess, Stella, we're going to have to reschedule because it's just too late.
Remember they had that thing on the 20th.
I know. So we may, basically, I was going to try and not have a meeting on the 20th with the Dewberry. I thought we could do it today, but we're 2 hours delayed.
Yeah.
So I think you're still going to have the meeting on the 20th. I think it's where we're headed the 20th.
Okay.
All right. So that being said, then I will only tell you item number 1, and you can read item number 2. We'll just do this on the 20th, Stella. I'm sorry, but I'll meet with you after lunch. All right. So item number 1, just to let you know, because I don't know when it's going to happen. Inform the board that the Florida Audubon Society, in conjunction with DEP, will be restoring the retaining walls around the old St. George Island Causeway to help maintain the areas of nesting habitat for nesting shorebirds. The project is being funded by BP funds that went to the NIFWIT project, and the public should be seeing activity out there in the next 6 months. It's not one that we are using our money for, but the state of Florida is using their money. And then the only thing I'll say is that let me just go to this. All right, consortium. The consortium has sent a letter to all the members of the consortium saying, we need your projects that are going to be funded from the consortium by September 2nd. I emailed back and said, we're never going to have that. We're never going to be able to do that. But I did talk to Gulf County yesterday, to Warren Yeager, and he said, Alan, what the Gulf County is doing is just generically saying we will spend our $12 million, about 30% on environmental stuff and 30% on economic stuff, and 30% on infrastructure, and that we didn't give them any specific projects. We just gave them a general breakdown, which I didn't think did anybody any good, but if they want some number, then I defer to you all, but I'll do something similar.
Let me ask you this right here real quick, Alan. It states here, we're gonna get $850,000 a year for 15 years.
Yeah.
So why couldn't you submit a project no higher than $850,000, and why don't you submit a project once a year?
You could, but they want to know
Why do they want to have all this stuff to what you're gonna do 15 years from now? And I've said this 1,000 times. We don't know what's gonna happen in 15 years. We do know we have a funding source of so much a year, and you know, let's take our time and let's come up with a project. You can't do nothing that costs more than $850 because that's all you're gonna get. So what is the big deal of trying to? The money's there, the money's earmarked in Franklin County, and if it goes through and we decide we want to do a project, as long as it ain't over $850,000, then fine. Submit the project, get the funding. Or if it's more than that, we skip a year and submit that project the next year when you got 2 years of funding. What is the big deal about having to submit all this stuff? The Restore Act's a little bit different because they're required to do certain things by the Treasury. The consortium were not.
Right, that's correct.
So I agree with you with the generic stuff, but I don't even see why we have to put in there a certain percentage for this or a certain percentage for that.
I was just trying to follow what Gulf County did, because I'm with you. I don't know why the consultants are demanding this on the timeline they are.
Like I said before, y'all, they're gonna eat it up in administrative.
They doing this so them and they get budget can
That's
get y'all ideas. That's all.
Right.
Get they sell.
Well, I'll stick to my rules of plan. I already emailed them and said we wouldn't respond by September 2nd. We didn't have time, and we'll just go from there. And I'll talk to Stella afterwards.
I mean, it's hard to sit down and come up with a 15-year plan.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
you don't know what's gonna happen next year, much less a year after that, and 10 years out from there.
Hey, I might be here.
And then you're gonna limit yourself to those projects you said you were gonna do over this 15-year time, and things change. With the Restore Act's a little bit different, and we can amend that plan too, I understand, but this consortium plan, I don't see where you have to sit out there and tell them what you're gonna allocate your money for.
I wouldn't think
As
so.
long as it's spent within the criteria, if they've got criteria, and I
And they
think
do.
it's
They have the general
environmental,
criteria.
economic.
Yeah.
Y'all know how I feel about it, I done told y'all.
If they wanna put what they gonna do for 15 years, that's fine, it don't mean we got to.
Yeah.
But she's wanting all 23 counties to do it.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a comment. if we can get by with making a very generic response, I think we do have to respond if they ask for a response, it seems to me.
Well, I've already responded saying we won't be
Yeah.
able to do it by September 2nd, and I asked the consultant to contact me, which they haven't done yet, so I feel like I've still got some leverage with them, saying, hey, I asked for your help and did an email, I responded to their form.
Well, I'm not smoking, there's no way you can tell 15 years down the road what you're gonna want. You liable, you don't know what's gonna
I'll put in
happen.
something generic. We're gonna spend our money on X, Y, and Z, whatever their
Yeah.
criterias are. Environmental, economic, infrastructure. This is what we're gonna spend our money on. Boom, send it to them.
Okay.
Well, and,
Don't allocate percentages to it, because you may wanna use more percentage over here in environment than you do on economic, or vice versa. When you put those percentages down there, then you're gonna be held to that
And
standard.
it may change.
And it may
Okay.
change.
Well,
So,
let-
whatever the criteria is, put in a generic.
All right, I'm gonna say we're gonna spend 100% of the money in compliance with the state law.
There you go.
well, and let me say this, in September,
Let
at
her
the
roll.
policy meeting down in, Martin County, we are having the Gulf Consortium meeting, so I'm gonna bring up some points when because it cannot just be wanting this within less than 30 days,
Okay.
you know?
I think what the message we said, Mr. Sanders, you're gonna go in there and say that the Frank County promises to spend 100% of the money within the terms of the law.
Well, that's what I tell them, that's what I tell them down the meeting.
And how we do it, ain't no business of theirs. We're gonna get X amount of dollars a year, and that's all we're gonna get, as long as it's spent within their criteria. Let us
It doesn't matter.
figure that out 10 years from now, or 5 years from now, or 3 years from now, or whatever.
Okay, then that's our.
All right, finish your 5 up.
Okay, see, now, before Alan came back, I had you guys out of here by 11. So, you know what's up
Can't
with
blame
that.
all that on that.
I'm just kidding. Okay, item number two on my report, board action to award the ballpoint resurfacing and widening project to Roberts and Roberts. Purple Ridge reviewed the bids received, and is recommending Roberts and Roberts as the lowest responsive bidder. Price of $1,210,915.10.
So move.
Second.
Motion second floor, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion
I
carries.
want to just ask a question. When is the start date? Tell them the start date needs to be ASAP, and also make sure that they put that bicycle lane in there that I requested, you know, the extra. Huh? The paved shoulders
Yes,
for
ma'am. Yes,
bicycle.
That's a paved shoulder. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
Oh, go, Clay, don't go too far, son.
paved shoulders for the bicycle.
Okay, next item, board action to approve a change order for the paving project. This change order will cover work done that was in addition to the original paving contract. In addition, there are 3 roads that are part of the original contract that have yet to be completed. The contract is now past the deadline, it's considered past due. Mr. Clay Smallwood is here to answer any questions on this matter. So it's board action for the change order, and then I just want to inform you guys, we're now in a past due state with C.W. Roberts.
Right, I just got one question. Don't forget, they haven't paid, marked none of my roads, none of my stop signs, and none of Brian's Drive, they haven't marked no lines. And so if we do the change order, will it come in with Roberts and Roberts to do it?
It's in their contract to come back and put the thermoplastic down. They haven't done that throughout the county. So that's not just your district.
That's not a
Okay.
change order.
2 questions.
Yes, ma'am.
On Third Street, I'm still having a heartburn on that. I'm still having a heartburn on a 10 or 12-foot lane road. I can't have it like that. They had to do it over to, I am mad about it now. I'm still mad about it, Clay.
Yes, ma'am.
I told you for the past 3 months I'm mad about it. And then on Elder Street out there, that's the worst leveling course or finish coat I've ever saw in my life. It's real spotty, like the top of the rocks has came up to the top of the pavement, and it's not smooth. I mean, it's spotty.
It's a mess.
It is. I'm not happy. It looks like it's a leveling course and it looks like well, y'all, I know about it. It looks like a leveling course instead of a
It's
finished
messed up.
road.
I've been out there. I was out there
I'm not
yesterday.
happy with none of it.
I think they got behind and got in a hurry.
They did,
Well, I don't like
That's what
it.
happens when you get in a hurry.
yeah.
Mr.
Mr. Chairman,
Chairman,
I seen some of that
you get
stuff
in a hurry.
Smokey's got over there.
Is yours the same way?
Yeah.
Boat ramp is out
Yeah,
there.
Michael carried me for a ride
Looks
around
just like
it,
the
so-
rocks is up at the top of it.
Some of
Mr.
it.
Chairman, I have a comment
Yeah,
too.
Yes,
it's
sir.
bad looking. You
Plum.
know we're gonna have a problem.
I continue to get complaints about that. I think I mentioned it to you.
Yes, sir.
All right, Michael, finish her up.
So, well, I need you guys to approve the change
yeah,
order that
approve.
covers roads that are outside of the current
Okay.
contract. So I need a motion on that.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we do that. Approve it.
Second.
Have a motion second on the floor. All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries, so.
And then any action with C.W. Roberts, we'll.
Well,
defer.
Clay,
Claire handle it, that's what we got.
report back to us at the next meeting, Clay, because I'm really upset about that road. They cost me another
All right.
15.
Item 4, board action to award the Franklin County Courthouse HVAC replacement project to Classic Coastal. They do business as GW Services Heating and Air, and authorize the chairman's signature on the contract. Mr. Emo reviewed all of the bids and determined that Classic Coastal is the lowest qualified responsive bidder. Commissioner Parrish, he did, even though it's lower and you raised concerns about that, he met with them numerous times to make sure that they would meet the bid. Supporting documentation is attached to your packet. I need board action to approve the chairman's signature and the board moving forward with that project.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second on the floor, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
And I should have brought up item 5 when Jason was here. Board action to appoint Mr. Steve Kirschenbaum to the Airport Committee. Mr. Kirschenbaum and Mr. Jason Puckett have discussed the role of the Airport Committee. Commissioner Lockley is requesting his appointment to fill a seat that has been vacant since his previous appointment came off the committee.
Second?
Have a motion second on the floor, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Item 6, board action to approve a letter from Attorney Schuler canceling our contract with Gulf Pilot. We contracted with this company earlier this year to create our new permitting software. Due to some differences between your staff and Gulf Pilot, the county will have to look elsewhere for this service.
So moved.
Second?
Have a motion second on the floor, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
Finally, Commissioners, to inform the board that I got an email from the Veteran Services Office that they will be closed from August 22nd to the 31st. Your VSO, Mr. Elliott, will be on vacation that week, which is next week. No, longer than that, week and a half. And that's my report.
Any commissioner comments?
So through you.
Any public comments?
Attorney Schuler had one
Oh,
thing.
you got one
I
thing?
hate to, I know it's been a very long day, and if
I
this
thought
wasn't
you
for the
told-
sheriff's
okay.
department, I would pass it to the next meeting.
Okay, go ahead.
Mr. Morone, since your last meeting, brought to me a proposed easement deed that was sent by Duke Energy to the sheriff's department. When I looked at the easement, they have described your entire 160-acre parcel, I mean landfill, sheriff's department, road department, everything. And all they're trying to do is to run a line from a current pole about 200 feet behind the sheriff's office over to this new structure that they built.
New building.
Now, my question to Dan Collins, when I called him, the Duke Energy representative, was, Dan, why is this so complicated? You've already got power lines on property, you've already serviced, you know, the sheriff's department, everyone already has electricity. You're just running a little dog leg 200 feet. Why is this so complicated? He says that under the new policy from Duke Energy, they don't have a current easement deed to the property, and their new policy is if they drop a pole and add a transformer, they want a formal written easement deed. So what I'm asking from you is, do you want me to have Preble Rish go out on the scene and survey specifically the lines that are there so that you limit where they're putting these lines? Or you can, with what they provided, a blanket easement over the entire 160 acres of property that you control?
I think,
You
I'm
know
gonna
what, no, excuse me, using Pebble Ridge, we're gonna limit the footprint.
That's what I'm
We're gonna
suggesting.
take the footprint if they got where the power line goes in now and just extend that a little bit and they jump over to the other
That's what I'm
building.
suggesting, is I would prefer to have a limited footprint as opposed to over the entire 160 acre parcel. But the downfall, of course, to having the limited footprint is every time they have to run another line, we've got to get the surveyor back out there for a new easement. The advantage with having the blanket, of course, is you don't have to have continued easements on the
No, but then they
property.
could just claim easement wherever they wanted on 160 acres.
Well, it has to be by mutual agreement. The question is, do you trust them to decide what?
Oh,
mutual-
No. No. It's like I don't trust them to spray the bushes next to the power
I'll
line.
have Preble Rich go survey the exact lines.
I'm
then.
mad about it.
All right, that's all I needed. Thank you, Commissioners.
Any public comments?
I did have one commissioner comment. I'm hungry.
Shall we
That did it.
Anybody say?
We're going home.
Oh, wow.